Hey guys, it's Hans Hobbies, and if you have made it this far, congratulations. We've reached the end of 2020, which has been a long year to say the least. Um, and if you're watching this at the time of upload, when it was uploaded, Happy New Year. And I don't need to explain to anyone, I don't think, what 2020 was like, but it was more or less a pretty rough year, but for the RC hobby, it was actually a pretty good year. A lot of people got into the hobby. A lot of people had the were fortunate enough to spend a lot of time in their hobby, and all the companies released a lot of cool stuff for 2020. So the RC hobby, I think, is doing pretty well at the moment. And speaking of which, someone asked me if they could see my collection as of the end of 2020. So that's what I'm gonna do for you guys here today. So yeah, sit back and enjoy. And again, Happy New Year. So this is gonna be really informal. I'm just gonna go around and show you all the cars. In my desk, I have this kind of garage looking thing that I can slide up, and I have some cars in here. I have my Rising Fighter that's in there. It hasn't been run since the last video I've done on it. So it's kind of getting a break back there. Here is my Axial Yeti Junior that I got for review. I was planning on doing a lot of these reviews before the new year, but it didn't really work out that way. So I'm in the process of editing up the reviews for some of these trucks. So um, stay tuned for that stuff. But this truck I got as part of my new mini side of the hobby kind of thing. And I was planning on keeping this long term, but one of my friends wanted it, and I decided that I have enough cars. Honestly, he has enough cars too, but he wanted one. So I basically gave it to him to have. And then when he gets bored with it, it'll probably end up back in my hands. So that's how just the cookie crumbles, I guess. But fun truck or car ATV thing, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, my ECX 118 scale Ruckus is also back there. It's basically a parts car now, so but it's sitting back there in the darkness. Here we have my Proline Rock fan body that I did with Ampro Engineering. He did a whole video on it, and he made like a 3D printed grill and light buckets and all that. All I basically did was sponsor the build because I bought everything. He wanted to make it, but he didn't really want to go out and spend the $50 to get the body and stuff. So it was kind of a collaboration between us, and it's also gonna be continued collaboration because I still have to paint this and show him the paint job and all that, and show you guys the paint job. But obviously, it's not painted yet because I can't really paint right now. Both because of my living situation and and also because of the weather. Can't really paint bodies right now. So a lot of my cars you'll see have bodies that are either not painted or incomplete because it's kind of on hold for the season. Some Traxxas parts in here. That's kind of a spoiler for their upcoming project. But same thing with these tires. But I have more body shells and stuff, but I won't really go through all the body shells and stuff. Here we have my Tamiya FF01 Honda Civic. Haven't really done a lot of videos on this thing. I've actually only driven it a couple times since my initial running video. Just haven't had the chance to really drive it, especially since I ended up moving not too long after I got this thing. And then now it's also really cold and it's been really wet outside constantly. And with the car being front wheel drive, there's no real point of driving it in wet, cold conditions, whether it won't really grip anyway. So waiting on warmer weather to drive this, but and also being a Honda fan, this is a really cool car to have. I got it on sale on Tamiya's website. I think they still have a few left. If anyone is interested in getting one. I also have a Veloster turbo body for it. That's an exclusive from the factory store in Korea. And I picked one of those up while I was over there a while ago. So finally have a body, finally have a chassis for that body. Over here we have my, oh, it's kind of stuck over here on the mirror, but you can see what it is. It's my comical Hornet. A lot of you have already seen this on my channel. I did a whole like conversion video and some tune-up videos of this thing. Fun car, but unfortunately, I think I may be getting rid of this soon, just to really cut down the number of cars I own. As you will see, I own one too many cars, and I'm really trying to consolidate my cars so I can afford to keep all of them running. So that's potentially on the chopping block. But overall, I had a lot of fun with it, and I think I've had enough fun with it as it is. And then moving along. Here we have my Losi Mini T 2.0 that I recently got. My lovely, lovely girlfriend got me this for Christmas. And I'm really excited to get more driving time with this. I have a lot planned for this thing. I want to do like different wheels, the J Concepts body for it. I want the aluminum shocks because the stock shocks seem like they're leaking pretty bad. So I want to get those just also for bling, but also hopefully those will leak less. But yeah, really excited to drive this. I'm actually gonna go drive this right after this video. So I'll get back to you. Over here is some of the cars I have on display in my room. Here we have my Sen Racing Jimny Q Series. This is a car I was originally going to do a full unveiling of, just to show you guys what I did to my Sen Racing Jimny. And this is kind of a spoiler here. I won't really go into full detail on the build of this in this video because I still want to make that other video about it. So, but long story short, it's a fun truck and I really, really like it. It's potentially replacing a different truck I have. Over here we have my Tamiya lunchbox, my good old faithful lunchbox. This is the car that really got me knees deep back into the RC hobby, so it's really special. Also, the timing of when I got this was significant as well because I was at a really low point in my life. So this thing really helped me get back on my feet and just kind of bring my mood back up and really reminded me that there's a lot more to enjoy in life. So yeah, very special. This is very special to me. It's also the profile picture of the channel, so definitely a channel mascot here. A lot of stuff done to this. You can see it's pretty badly beat up because it is well loved. The A pillar up here has been fixed because that was crushed. Wild Willy driver in there, full ball bearings. It's on its third set of wheels. Originally had the yellow wheels painted black, then it had chrome wheels, and then now it's running the black edition wheels. Full CVA oil shocks all the way around, chassis braces front and rear, the Ampro Engineering chassis brace or the axle brace. Some other miscellaneous modifications done to it, more Ampro parts. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with this thing and it's just a really special truck. I'll probably never get rid of this one. This is definitely a keeper. Even if I get rid of all of my cars, this is something I'll just keep around, even if I get out of the hobby entirely, if that even ever happens. But yeah, amazing truck. I love that thing. And you will see I have a very soft spot in my heart for lunchboxes. But moving on to some other cars. Here we have some of my mini cars. This is my ECX Roost that's replacing my Ruckus. The front of it is broken. It shattered because it's cold outside and I crashed it. So I had to cut it back so it doesn't look as broken. But yeah, unfortunately, the front of it is kind of missing. But it still looks pretty cool and drives well nonetheless. So yeah, this is gonna be the mini the mini 4-wheel drive that I keep, with the Losi being the mini 2-wheel drive that I keep. And then these other 4-wheel drive minis are ones I got for review and will be getting rid of pretty soon when the review videos come out for these. I'm in the process of editing these up as well. But here we have my Volcano 16 from Red Cat. This is a new release, hot release, whatever you want to call it. It's actually a high boxing 16889 with some modifications to it by Red Cat. But overall, good truck. I really like this truck. If I wasn't trying to cut down on the number of cars I have, this is one I would definitely keep. Over here, I have my Traxxas Teton. This one's also a very well-handling truck. A lot of fun to drive this truck as well. And looks fantastic, I think also. This one has the Seabox servo in it because the stock servo is garbage and broke. And it also has full RPM A-arms all the way around because those also broke. But yeah, this is a car I was originally also planning on keeping, but I think I'm going to be getting rid of this one as well as soon as the review is up. But yeah, I'm gonna put the money somewhere else, as you will see. I have a couple projects in progress, as you will see. And speaking of projects, this is one of the projects I'm working on. This is my Red Cat Racing Landslide XTE. I did a review on very recently. You can see it doesn't look like a landslide anymore. Mostly, it's got kind of a knockoff of the Proline Baja Bug body for the Slash. It's the same mold. It's not the exact same body, but I have that on here. I'm also in the process of doing like a buggy conversion, so I have some parts coming in for this that I'm waiting on. It's to narrow up the track, and then a rear spoiler for back there. I'm also gonna put thicker fluid in the diff, so it doesn't diff out as much. And some different wheels and tires I'm gonna put on this because these monster truck wheels and tires are pretty good, but I kind of want to make it look more like a buggy, so I'm gonna be replacing those as well. This is definitely one of my favorite trucks at the moment. I love driving that thing. It's so exciting. It's just an amazing truck to drive. If you guys want to see more about that truck, check out my review. And then moving down here to my cabinet, we have some extra parts and screws in here, mostly Tamiya screws. Over here we have we have some stuff in here. We have the Ampro Engineering stickers and the grill and stuff for the rock fan. I really have to finish that. And then some other like miscellaneous parts and stuff are in this cabinet, but I won't really get into detail on that. Up here I have my baby lunchboxes. Here's my lunchbox mini that my girlfriend got me for Christmas last year. I wanted it mostly just to have a display piece that I can drive around occasionally. So it's fulfilling its purpose on this display shelf here. I have converted it over to two-wheel drive, so it drives a little bit more like a regular lunchbox. But other than that, it's completely stock and I haven't really done anything else to it. Here's my Lunchbox Junior, not an RC, but does look really cool. I wish the Lunchbox Mini looked more like this, because this looks more accurate to the Lunchbox, but, you know, can't have everything you want, I guess. Moving down here, we have some of my other mini cars. Here's my X-Mod F-150. I was doing a bunch of videos on this initially when I first moved to the new house, but kind of lost steam because I've been working on other stuff. And also I haven't driven this in a while because I lost a bearing over here for the wheel and I don't really know what size it is. So I'm in the process of figuring that out so I can get a full ball bearing set for this. And then I also have the lowering kit in that cabinet back there. That should make the stand sit more like this, which will make it look a little better. I just haven't gotten around to putting it in yet. And then back here we have my RC 4-wheel drive Golande 2. Amazing mini trail truck. It doesn't crawl the best, but it does drive in a very realistic manner. So this thing is very fun to drive for those reasons, like a lot of RC 4-wheel drive cars tend to be. This one has different tires on it, new tires, different bumper, and it has Master Chief driving in there. See if we can get a better view. There we go. Master Chief reporting for duty in his little Land Rover. Up here in this empty spot right there, that is where my Axial SCX 24 should be, but it's over at my friend's house at the moment. I have done videos on that truck, so if you guys want to see that, you can check out my channel for that. Over here on this display case are some of my quote-unquote shelf queens. These are obviously run, but I don't run these very often. I'm also sorry about my shaky hands. I don't run these very often, but they are run occasionally. I mostly have them for display though, but they're not exactly shelf queens. Here's my MO2L by Tamiya. This is my oldest surviving RC car, so pretty special. This is my second ever Tamiya I've ever built and the third ever hobby grade RC car I've ever had. I did a couple videos on this as well, so pretty special little car. I love this thing. Over here, my Tamiya Hornet. This is the true Tamiya that got me back into building Tamiyas and kind of back into RC cars. The lunchbox has a bit more of a special spot in my heart just because it's a monster truck and just because the timing of when I got it. But this is the true reclaimer of my real re-entry into the hobby. So pretty special. It's got a fresh new body on it because the original body was completely beat up. It's missing rear body mounts at the moment, which is why I can't drive it. And the wheels still need to be painted pink, and then I think it actually needs new front wheels because the hubs broke off. But it's got that nice Hans Hobbies paint scheme going on, so it looks really nice. This one has full ball bearings, running all the stock electronics in it, and it has the Ampro Engineering battery cover, as well as the chassis brace, and some other like miscellaneous modifications done to it. But yeah, that's a really fun little buggy to drive. But mostly, it's more fun to look at this thing for me than to actually drive it. Moving down, another car in a similar paint scheme. Here's my Tamiya Honda City Turbo 2. This is my girlfriend's favorite car that I own. Just to look at, overall way that it looks, the paint job, the way it drives, just everything about it, it's her favorite. And I have to say it's one of my favorite as well. I love how it turned out. This one's actually not MCI decals, this one's all paint job. So I'm actually pretty proud of that. You can see it's definitely got scratches here. It's not in mint condition, but what's the point of an RC car if you're gonna just leave it as a static model? You can see the rear fenders are actually worn out to the point where they're not straight anymore because I've driven it and worn it down so much. Really fun little car to drive. I love driving this little thing. It has full ball bearings, stock electronics. There's the Tamiya TBLEO2 electronics in it, and then the Tamiya Sport Tune motor in this guy. Moving down, another Tamiya. Here we have my Honda CR-V CC01. This is a pretty rare little car. They only sold the Honda CR-V version, and it's also out of the 4 hard body CC01s, this is the only one that's never been re-released. The Jeep one was re-released for a short little while. Currently they have the Isuzu Mu and they have the Pajero, but they don't have a CR-V, and they've never re-released this thing. So this is actually vintage. They only sold it from like 96 to like 98 or something like that, and they didn't sell very many of these, which is part of the reason why they aren't re-releasing it, I suspect. But it's really special to me as a Honda fan, and just I have a real CR-V, not a first generation like this one, but I do have a CR-V, and I've always wanted a first generation CR-V, just never got around to getting one. But I do have this one, and I paid an arm and a leg for it, but definitely worth it to me as a Tamiya fan and as a Honda fan. Again, I'm gonna keep having to apologize about my shaky hands. I'm kind of doing this in a really informal manner, but the chassis on this is fully restored. I've finished the restoration of the chassis, but the body still needs work. You can see it's missing some of the roof rack up here, but it has all the original stickers. It even has the spare tire cover still there. But I just haven't put any of the decals or anything on because I want to redo the paint job and kind of repolish all this stuff before I put the stickers on. So really excited to get this thing restored. It's gonna look fantastic once it's done. Here's my LiPo battery charger that I recently got. I recently changed over to some LiPo. I got some LiPos to run some more modern cars. So this is the LiPo charger I got. I got the Onyx 350 dual charger. It works for what I need because a lot of the cars I use LiPo for use two 2S batteries. So this is very handy. I also didn't pay very much for this. I think I paid like 70 bucks for this charger. And that's why I'm really a big fan of Onyx. They provide really high quality products for a pretty low price. So Onyx used to be a Duratrax brand, but now it's obviously a Horizon Hobby brand. I also have the Onyx battery pouch, and my old workhorse of a charger was this nickel metal charger. It's also an Onyx charger. I think this is the 110. Just a simple nickel metal charger. This one is actually back from the day when Traxxas was still around, and Hobbyco was still around. So this one's a pretty old charger, but still working pretty well. So that's my battery setup. Over here we have all my bodies, some that need painting. You can see my Veloster Turbo body, my Wild Willy body. Some of these need painting. There's an FJ body in here. Some of these are old bodies and beat up that I'm saving for other stuff. So I have even some extra Proline bodies in here. So that's just my little pile of bodies. I won't dig into that because it's gonna make a mess. But yeah, a lot of bodies and stuff in here that's waiting for warmer weather. Moving over to my garage where I have some of my other cars. You can see my real life CRV. It's pretty dirty. I have it set up so I can go off-road and stuff with it. I do go to off-road parks and go to sand dunes and stuff with this thing. Surprisingly capable, even though it's only a CRV. Really happy with this thing. This is one of my it's my daily driver, but also I treat it like one of my RC cars. If you guys want to see more about my full-size car, let me know and I'll make a video. But back to my RC stuff. Here we have my mini Summit next to my larger Summit. Both really fun cars. This one, I really like the Summit, just the overall aesthetic and just the way they drive. The mini Summit is obviously fun because it's portable, gives you that Summit action, but doesn't weigh 13 pounds. So this is a really fun truck to drive, and only takes one battery to drive it, so that's also pretty nice. This thing, I'm planning on doing a new body for it, a new paint job. I have MCI decals already prepared to put on this, but again, waiting for warmer weather. Other stuff I've done to this, I put the Savox servo on it because the Traxxas mini servos, they, in my opinion, they're kind of trash. And my stripped out, so Savox servo in there, haven't had a problem since. I also have the Traxxas Stinger 20 turn motor in there. I went a little bit more into detail about this thing in a different video, so if you guys want to see that, again, check out my channel. Moving on over to the big Summit that I got just a few days ago for Christmas. I have the Fox Racing stickers on here, courtesy of MCI Racing. That makes it look a little bit cooler, I think. Makes it look like a Fox edition. The orange is actually very neon orange. It's a lot brighter in person than on camera. It's actually surprisingly bright. A really awesome looking truck. I've been driving this thing a lot. I've been having a lot of fun with this thing. And part of the reason I'm driving it a lot is, one, because I like driving it. It's just so much fun to drive, but also because I've been getting some footage for the full review of this thing, and I can't wait to do the review of this thing because I am going to be talking for a while about how much I love this thing. So I guess a little spoiler for the review there. Moving down here are some of my trail trucks and crawlers. You can see my CC01 Pajero, or Pajero, however you pronounce it. This thing, really fun to drive, but I haven't really driven it very much because I have so much other stuff I have to get through, and you're really spoiled for choice when you have a large collection. But that's part of the reason why I'm probably going to be getting rid of this one soon, because don't really drive this as much, and some of my other cars kind of fill the role of the trail truck already. So before I do let it go, I will make a final goodbye video of it, kind of like how I did with my DTO2. But it's got the MST CMX tires on it and wheels. Oh no, these are the stock wheels, but these are the CMX tires. It has the Tamiya barrel springs. You can kind of take a peek in there. Full ball bearings. It's running the Hobbywing 1060 ESC on a crawler mode, and I think it has a 45 turn axial crawler motor. But yeah, looks fantastic, drives really realistic, and I really like it, but I do have to make my collection a bit smaller. So here we have my CR01. It's still stock, as far as a rock soccer goes, still brass bushings everywhere. The stock barrel springs, which is technically an upgrade. Stock tires. I do have Duratrax crawler tires for this, but I decided I like the look and the way that these squeal on pavement and wood and stuff. So I just decided to keep the stock tires on it. It doesn't really crawl that well anyway, so I thought I'd just keep it mostly as like a trail truck. And that's also a reason why I'm getting rid of that thing, because this already kind of fills that spot. This is definitely one of my favorite paint jobs I've ever done, and I'm gonna have a hard time ever getting rid of that one because one, I'm never gonna find a CR01 rock soccer for the price that I did, and I'm never gonna be able to recreate that basket and this paint job again because my paint jobs are like Russian roulette. They either turn out great or they turn out absolutely terrible. So um, I have limited spins with that. Over here, I have my 1.9 converted axial Wraith. This is a recent acquisition. It was a trade from my friend. I traded it for a different crawler, I believe. I don't really remember what I traded it for. Oh, my sawback. I traded it for my sawback. Um, yeah, really cool truck. It's the older Wraith, so it has the full interior. Put a spare tire in the back. It's running the Red Cat Super Swamper tires on it. I changed out the foams though. And then it's got different beadlock wheels, Integy universal front drive shafts, Integy metal bumper, Integy winch, and Integy shocks. This one, my friend really likes Integy, so he really decked this one out with Integy stuff. Awesome little truck. Potentially gonna be getting rid of this soon as well. I haven't made any videos of it, so I do have to get it on camera more. But again, trying to shrink the size of my collection. So, and all the cars I'm getting rid of, don't ask me if you can have them. Don't ask me if you can buy them from me on YouTube. I'm not gonna be selling them on YouTube. They're gonna be sold privately. And if you happen to run across it, like some people have, then you feel free to contact me about it. But otherwise, yeah, don't bother me about it. This one, the only modification I've made to it is I kind of did some housekeeping with it. I put this opening hood mod. It's a simple one, just held on with zip ties. And then these little hood pins are from my Stampede two-wheel drive. I have a little cover in here that's acting like the engine, and the ESC is actually in here. It's the ESC off of my ECX Brutus. That's what's in here. And then the receiver is sitting on top of the servo. And I have the 25 kg servo in here, which is a pretty popular servo to use. Pretty cheap and pretty powerful, waterproof. Works really well, so that's a servo I use very frequently. And then the battery mounts back here where the firewall would be. So, really cool little truck. I love how it turned out, and I would love to do a new body and stuff for it and just drive it more. But I have my eyes set on some other stuff, so. Here we have my Red Cat Gen 7. This one has been an absolute workhorse. This thing started out life as I made it into a Jeep Cherokee XJ. Drove it like that for a long time. It was my rock crawler. It was my trail truck. I drove that thing almost to the ground. I recently restored it, and in the process of me restoring it, I put on this UMG 10 body on it. It's modified and extended to fit on the Red Cat chassis. You can kind of see the modification I've made back there. I am going to be putting a full canopy on the back there, so it looks more like a troop transport or something like that. I have the Unimog 3D printed grill on here with LED lights in there, and it also has an LED light lighting up this logo, Mercedes-Benz style. We have the UMG 10 driver in there in like the military style. And then the tires are the UMG 10 wheels and tires, just to kind of finish up that look. And then the axles are the Gen 8 portal axles. It's the portal axle upgrade kit. So they actually did come out with the Gen 2, version 2 recently that has double shear mounts, unlike the single shear the single shear on this one. But I'm basically gonna use this one until it breaks, and then I'll upgrade over to the version 2. But yeah, have Haven't had this one on camera in a long while, so and I haven't really had the chance to test out those portals yet, so excited to get that one out soon. Just really busy with a lot of other stuff at the moment, just real life stuff, and as well as RC stuff. So over here, I have some of my CWO ones and some more Tamiyas over here. Here we have my girlfriend's lunchbox I built with her for our anniversary. That was a lot of fun. It's got the black edition, black edition decals on it, but it is just a regular edition lunchbox. I also have the Montero wheelie white wheels on it, because just to finish up that look. And then speaking of Montero wheels, this one also has white wheels, but these are just painted white, not the actual molded white wheels. And here we have my Midnight Pumpkin. This was the chrome edition, so when it scratches up, you can see it's black patina there. I have the MCI decals on here to make it look more like a classic type. Both of these are really good looking trucks, drive just like my lunchbox, and I have a soft spot for both of these just because it's my lunch. They're essentially lunchboxes, and then this one's also technically not even mine. So, but love how that paint job turned out. Over here we have my Herbie, my cat, turned into a lunchbox here. I did this project a long while ago and towards the beginning of my channel. I'm in the process of converting it into like an on-road lunchbox, so that's why it's kind of lowered here. It's running on some on-road drift car like wheels and the shocks and springs and stuff. It's also going to be getting the Ampro Engineering double wishbone front suspension, so when it is lowered, it won't camber ridiculously like this. So that's an ongoing project. I haven't touched it in a while, so I have to really get back on that. But it also requires some painting, so part of the reason why it hasn't really been touched in a while. Over here, another one that requires painting. This is my Super Hornet, and it's in the process of getting the body restored. You can see I've done some sanding on it. It still needs a bit more sanding and needs new coat of paint and stuff. I have MCI decals for this. This is also going to be in the paint scheme of my other Hornet and my Honda City Turbo, so that's going to look fantastic. You can see the wheels already painted pink, and these are the more modern Tamiya wheels and tires. I just like the look of those a bit better. That's why I put those on there. This one's running the Tamiya ESC, but it does have the MSC little resistor cover thingy there. And it's still running 27 megahertz, the same radio that it came with. And I will keep it on that just for nostalgia purposes and just for the overall a classic 90s buggy aesthetic. Moving up now, here we have some of my monster trucks. Here's my ground pounder that I did a full review on. Since the review, it's got a new fresh body, the AMSOIL shock therapy body here. It's also got the Freestyle RC the axle brace, so hopefully those won't break again. Though I am still waiting for the top half of this front axle. It's still on back order everywhere, so I'm still waiting on that. But unfortunately, before that comes in, I might even get rid of this one as well, just because, yeah, I might get rid of this one as well, because my Sen Racing Jimny kind of fills the same purpose, so that's probably why I'll get rid of this. And the Sen Racing also takes up a lot less space, but it is a truck I would like to keep around, but I have arguably too many cars. This Blackfoot, my girlfriend got me this one as well for my birthday a couple years ago. One of my favorite trucks. This one has the lunchbox wheels on it. You can see it's that similar paint scheme again. Same thing with my Cloudbuster over there. Just love the way this thing looks. So love the way it drives. I put the lunchbox wheels and tires on it. It has full ball bearings, MIP ball differential. It's got the stock CVA shocks, the axial skull driver head, some eBay F-150 mirrors up here. Just one of my favorite trucks to just drive and just look at. It's definitely also a keeper. Moving over to the big Blackfoot, the King Blackfoot. This is actually my Tamiya Super Cloudbuster that I made into a quote-unquote King Blackfoot. I thought the King Blackfoot name should be put on something that actually looks like a king. So that's why I put this on here with my own paints, the color scheme, of course. It looks pretty good. The body is a J Concepts body. It's mostly stock. It still has the stock pogo spring shocks. I just like the look and feel of those, so that's why I kept those on there. Um, the only modification I've done is obviously the ball bearing kit and the servo and axle kit here. So that's the only modification I made to it. It's running the stock ESC. It's running 25 kg servos, stock motors. Yeah, this is just the stock Mabuchi motors there. So a lot of fun to drive that one as well. And also definitely a keeper. I got that one also for my birthday. Not for my girlfriend though, but I did get it for my birthday. One of the pods are missing, but just sitting right there. Moving all the way down, these are some cars I'm in the process of selling and getting rid of. Here's my DTO2. Did a video of that recently, so I won't really go into detail on that. My Monster Beetle converted over to a Mud Blaster Blackfoot. It's kind of a combination of all three. Don't really need two ORV monster trucks, which is why I've decided to just let go of this one. And yes, I know I have like 4 lunchboxes. I had more. I recently sold a bunch of them, but lunchboxes hold a different place in my, like a special place in my heart. So cut me some slack. And also they're a bit smaller. But yeah, getting rid of this one. This one is basically stock, except obviously the Subaru Brat body and body mounts and ball bearings. It's running the stock ESC, 25 kg servo, and I think this one has a sport tuned motor, or if not a stock motor, I can't really see. Oh no, it has a torque tuned motor in there, so that's what's in this one. Over here we have my Tamiya MF01X drift car conversion. It started out as a rally Beetle, and then I converted it over to a drift car like this. The body's off of a MO5 that I had very shortly, very briefly, but I mostly bought it just to get the body shell and just to try out the MO5 again. But anyway, the wing back there is off of a Red Cat drift car. Had a lot of fun with this thing in the summer, but don't really drive it as much, and my friend kind of moved away, so don't really drive that one as much anymore, which is why I'm in the process of getting rid of it. It is one of my favorite builds that I've done though, so kind of a shame I'm getting rid of it, but I do need the money for some other projects. This Monster Beetle body is not for sale, but it is here. My GF01, I'm also going to sell it. It's having some transmission issues, and some of the drive shafts and stuff are missing. Don't really feel like fixing it, so I'm going to just dump it for cheap on someone else that wants parts for a project car or something like that. Some more other bodies right there. This is a box of random miscellaneous RC stuff. My original Stampede is in there in parts, but it is in there. My ECX Brutus is in there. You see the body shells right there, but ECX Brutus is in there in parts, and some other miscellaneous parts in that box. Some Duratrax tires, 3.8 tires. Here we have my ECX circuit. It started life as a ECX Amp MT, but the way it's set up now, it's essentially a circuit. This is my two-wheel drive like track car, so quote unquote. This is my retro stadium truck build. It has a kind of a retro style J Concepts stadium truck body on it. Has that Tamiya Hornet motif going to it. Running a brushed motor, brushed ESC, and running on a 7-cell nickel metal hydride battery. So gives that real nostalgic stadium truck vibes. And you can see I've driven this one recently. It's pretty dirty. Haven't had a chance to clean it up, and it's actually missing a screw down here that I have to find. But yeah, really fun to drive this thing. I haven't done any videos of this one, I don't think, so I will have to do some videos on this. The Amp MT and just the ECX vehicles in general, they're pretty good cars. The upgrades I've done to it, I have some RPM parts on here. I have some aluminum parts on here. I have the metal differential and transmission gears. I modified the servo savers so it actually works, and it's now floppy and weird. The ESC was replaced because the stock one is a 2-in-1 ESC receiver combo. The servo was replaced with a 25 kg servo, and the motor it's running is a Dynamite 20-turn motor. So a lot of upgrades has gone into this. It also has the rear cage, the rear bumper and cage from my Ruckus. Not Ruckus, my Brutus. So that's also in there. A lot of work has gone into this, but definitely worth it because it's a lot of fun to drive this little guy. And Even though this was a pretty long video at 40 something minutes, that's the end of my collection. Some people have larger collections, a lot of people have smaller collections, and I'm in the process of making it a bit smaller. But I am really happy with a lot of the cards I have. A lot of the cards I review, I get and then sell almost immediately, which is why they don't stick around very much. And then occasionally I'll get a card to review and then keep it. But that's why a lot of the cards I review are no longer here. Like the G601 bus, I've sold that recently. I sold a couple lunchboxes. I sold my WPL. I've sold a bunch of cards recently, so that's why a lot of cards are also missing. But if you guys stuck around for this long, thank you guys so much for watching this video and all the other videos on my channel. I've picked up a lot of subscribers recently, and thank you guys so much for that. And I hope you guys continue to enjoy the RC hobby, continue to enjoy my channel, and hopefully 2021 will be better. And I will see you on the other side. Happy New Year, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.